Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Empire 161, episode number 21. Paul O'Neill, that's right. Welcome, everyone. I just noticed we are getting blocked thanks to our boss, Steve Faraci, on Facebook.
Are we really?
He had an incident with Facebook and he got banned, and it looks like one of the pages are getting banned. That's all right. Boss, if you're watching, we're not going live on Pop Culture Pros, only on YouTube and our own Facebook page. So I think that's pretty funny, actually. I'll let him know. Though. But yes, everybody, welcome. My name, Tim Tawala, Dank Farrick, Ed Camus, also Dank Farrick. Ed, what is going on?
Not much, man. Apparently we have the same sense of humor right before we jumped right on, because I was like, I got to come up with something really random. Dank Farrick. I'm like, not too random.
He said it again. Right? He said it again this week, and it was real funny when he said it. So, yeah, man. So what's been going on?
Not much. I got my new Mando hat. Got my, my shirt rocking this week. I'm pretty excited to get talking about this stuff.
So the first half of our show, we have some TWIB notes. Where is it?
Finally.
There it is. TWIB notes. Finally, we have some actual baseball news we're going to talk about real quick. Ed, take it away.
We don't have the TWIB music? What? No?
I don't have the. I'm not ready.
Oh,
I had too much stuff going on. I had technical difficulties of all kinds. I didn't get a chance to load the music. But all right.
It doesn't matter. And listen, I think we'll make it through. I'll try to push through without it. But after the TWIB notes, I do want to ask you about a certain meal you had yesterday, and I would like you to share it with our viewers, because I think it's something that's important for everyone to know.
Okay. I'll answer questions.
All right. So last Wednesday was a big day for for Major League Baseball, as it was 8:00 was the deadline for teams to tender contracts to players that were arbitration eligible. Players that would be arbitration eligible are players with 6 years or less of Major League Baseball service at the time. So the Yankees, pretty much if you tender a player, right? So you're pretty much kind of saying, hey, here's an IOU that we're going to negotiate at least a 1-year contract and then go from there. So what they did was they did reach deals immediately, 1-year deals with both Luis Cessa and Ben Heller. Cessa's not exactly one of my favorite Yankees, but, whatever. He just doesn't seem to go away. Cashman loves him. But they did tender everyone else's favorite catcher, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, Luke Voit, Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier, Gio Urshela, Chad Green, and Jordan Montgomery. All players will have the opportunity, like previously mentioned, to negotiate new deals prior to spring training. The only player that was eligible that they did not tender was relief pitcher Jonathan Holder, so which he now becomes a free agent. And that was pretty much that. To give you an update on Gary Sanchez, for those who are wondering, because I know a lot of fans love Gary Sanchez, we mentioned a couple episodes ago that Gary Sanchez is one of the players playing in the Dominican Winter League. He has currently played 3 games. He's 5 for 11, which is a batting average of .454, 2 homers, 2 doubles, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, and an OPS of 1750 for those who are watching Gary Sanchez this winter. What you do with those numbers is completely up to you. I say you take them with a huge grain of salt, because there isn't major league level pitching, always pitching in the Dominican leagues, but I would rather personally see him hit than not hit. So that's where it is with that. The aforementioned Gio Urshela also had surgery to remove a bone chip in his right elbow last Friday. If you remember, he was having some issues with that. He hit the IL for the 10-day IL. I think he missed like 11 games, though, with it over the 2020 season. I know Brian Cashman had said a couple of days after the season ended that Gio would not need surgery, but he ended up opting for surgery. He continued to have discomfort in that elbow, so that was taken care of. The recovery time for that surgery is 3 months, which, if you do the math, pretty much puts him out for the first half of spring training. So we'll see. Oh, I'm getting to that, Frankie. I am definitely getting to that. That you should know that's not going to be left out. So that's the deal with Gio Urshela. So I wouldn't be. I mean, he could be ready for opening day, but we'll see what happens. What do you
Wait,
got?
do you mean fatter, Frank, or better? I think that must mean fatter if you're talking about Bartolo.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's meaning. Listen, listen. Gary's gotten a little bit bigger, but he's also pretty damn strong. So I don't know. I wouldn't put him in the Bartolo Colon class quite just yet. Sticking with the Yankees, HBO and Major League Baseball announced that they've teamed up for a documentary called "Under the Grapefruit Tree: The CC Sabathia Story," which will debut on both HBO and HBO Max on Tuesday, December 22nd at 9:00. CC will actually narrate that and will feature behind-the-scenes footage of CC's final season in 2019. So maybe we're getting like a mini kind of Last Dance type thing. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be as good as The Last Dance, because for those who saw that was ridiculously good. But we'll see, though. HBO usually and Major League Baseball usually do a pretty solid job with their documentaries and stuff. But you will get some like behind-the-scenes stuff. I think they're going to also touch on CC's, he was dealing with like alcoholism at one point and like back in 2015 and stuff. So they're going to go over his entire career. So I'm pretty sure they'll touch on that, and that should be pretty interesting. Earlier today, we got news from Major League Baseball that they've informed teams to plan for not to have the universal DH in 2021. So for all you fans out there who would love to see pitchers fly out pitches a couple of times a game and are really excited by double switches and things like that later in the middle to late in games, you get to have that again for at least one more year. I think Tim would agree with me. We personally are all for the universal DH, even though it doesn't actually affect our team that much. But we also did lose a Ching-Ming Wang years ago when he had a run in Houston, when Houston was a National League team. So that pretty much derailed his career. So that's where it affects us. But on a consistent basis, it's not going to affect us too much. But that is the deal with that. I personally don't know why Major League Baseball didn't have this decision made earlier, like before free agency started, so teams can actually sign guys to be their DH if need be. But whatever, it's out there. Are we referring to the Tommy loves the universal DH. I mean, just like we do. But it's unfortunately it's going to be delayed at least one more season. And then the last bit is what Frankie had, my cousin Frank had alluded to. Phillies managing general partner John Middleton was quoted yesterday afternoon as saying, "If they offered me Babe Ruth, I wouldn't trade him," when addressing trade rumors connected to Zach Wheeler. He also added in, by the way, which wasn't in a lot of the headlines, he did add in Ted Williams and Mike Schmidt as well. So let me get this straight. You're not going to trade Zach Wheeler for Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, or Mike Schmidt. Now, the only way I can see that being anywhat plausible is if you're talking about Babe Ruth now. Or you're talking about Ted Williams literally right now. Or Mike Schmidt right now. If you're talking about at any point in your playing career, you really should get drug tested. You are completely out of your mind. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean,
you think he's just trying to deny the fact that they're having financial issues?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think supposedly he was like, it was Buster only described it as he was like super angry and he was going about this. So I'm guessing he's probably just getting hit with a lot of this. You guys are going to trade. You're unloading contracts, blah, blah, blah. And then he just got pissed off and just started reeling off names that he can think of that were the most absurd things he can possibly imagine. So I don't know. Perhaps the Mets are not good at evaluating talent, Frank, but I think you would agree that you would send Zach Wheeler, like his family, his firstborn, everyone else after that, and everything if you had a shot at Babe Ruth or Ted Williams or Mike Schmidt. So
especially Babe Ruth could pitch and hit.
Yes, exactly.
In my book, can't hit.
No, as most about 98% or 99% of Major League Baseball pitchers cannot hit.
And Mike Schmidt's a Hall of Fame Philly, one of the greats of all time.
Exactly.
And he's shitting on him.
According to Steve Moore, he bunted a home run. Come on now.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. We can't describe that madness on the show. It won't happen. Especially with Steve not here to defend himself. But yeah.
Listen, me and his brother will never let him live that down, but he did say that once.
That's a story for a whole nother day.
Oh,
That's when we have no news and no Star Wars. We'll bring that up one day. But we got to get him on the show. He has to be able to defend himself.
I would love to. I would love for him to get on here, and he can't explain it one-on-one. So I would love to hear him explain it otherwise.
I'd trade Wheeler for half the Yankees farm system.
Exactly. We're talking about like New York Penn League guys, or the former New York Penn League, which is a story I thought about getting into, but then I'm like, maybe we'll save it for another time with the whole Yankees minor league affiliate situation, and they're getting dealing with getting sued by the former Staten Island Yankees now, but that's a whole other thing for another time. But yeah, as far as TWIB goes, that's it. And I think actually Jeff Passan of ESPN was also reporting that the DJ LeMahieu's camp. This is true. This is true. Only Steve Moore can tell you about bunt home runs by third baseman on the Phillies. I still would love to know why he chose Mike Schmidt, but
does Tommy know about doubles are better than home runs?
Tommy knows all about Steve Moore's shenanigans and talking about baseball. He's fully aware.
All we need to know.
No, but Jeff Passan of ESPN was also dropping in some stuff that he's hearing regarding DJ LeMahieu. Supposedly, DJ's camp is looking for a contract at about over $20 million a year, about 5 years to 6 years. The Yankees right now supposedly are pretty much holding their ground at 4 years. So that's where those negotiations are. He's also did report, though, the Yankees have made DJ their number one priority to return. And DJ really wants to stay with the Yankees. So, I just think negotiations are just going to be ongoing. DJ's like, hey, I want this. Yankees are like, this is what we're willing to go. Bring back another contract to me, and we'll see what's up. And nobody's really been able to offer him the 5 or 6 years. So that's probably the stalemate that they're at right now.
5 years. 5 years is too. He's what? 30 what?
He's 32 years old. He's going to be 33 next July.
Yeah, that's 5 years is too much. 37, 38 years old.
Personally, I would if that 1 year was the breaking point, I would give in and go to the 5th year. I'm not going to 6 years. I'm sorry. That's too much. No. The steroid is not the steroid era. DJ's not on steroids. None of that's in play anymore. So guys are not awesome until they're, like 50 years old anymore. So I go to 5 years at max if that 1 year is what it takes to get it done. But you're right, Tim. Ideally, 4 years is probably where I would apparently us and the Yankees would like to keep it at that.
All right. Well, I'm hoping they get that done. Because we discussed it last week. I saw the Mets infield, according to Met fans, and it was Lindor and LeMahieu, and they had everybody. Bauer,
Mike Schmidt,
Realmuto. They had Babe Ruth. They had everybody.
Fernandez.
So, all right. So that's good for the TWIB notes this week, and we're going to move on because it is Mando Monday. And once again, I was up at 3 a.m. watching this show, which is going to happen for the last 2 episodes because now I just have to do it.
Wow.
Because I can't wait no more. Did I spoil it right this week? Yes, I did. But before we get into it, we have a special guest with us this week. He is one of the crew from the Just Too Sweet show. He's also a writer, reviewer on Pop Culture Pros. Mr. Gill himself coming this week as Bertafett. Bert, what is up, my brother? How are you?
This is the way.
This is the way. I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
We didn't rehearse this. I didn't warn you ahead of time. Rank the Star Wars movies, all 11 of them, 1 to 11. Go.
Whoa.
All of them?
Right on the spot.
Okay.
Spot. We didn't rehearse it. I didn't give you time to learn. Do it.
I didn't hear about this.
Empire, Episode 4, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Solo, Force Awakens. Wow. How many is that? 7?
I think
right?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
You have the 2 latest. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Sorry, forget it. Okay.
The worst.
Okay, the worst one, Attack of the Clones. That's the worst one for me. Attack of the Clones. The clone. Are we counting the Clone Wars animated movie?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't have to count that one in.
We didn't count that.
So okay. Clone Wars Episode 2, Episode 1. Even though I've seen that like 200 times, for the quality of it, of course. Solo, Not because it's poorly made, but because it didn't need to be made. But I thought the movie was okay. Then we get into episode 6. Return of the Jedi is one of the original trilogy that I've seen the least. That I go back to the least. Like it's fine, but for me, it's whatever. Episode 4. Then that's 5. Boom. Then Last Jedi. Revenge of the Sith. Episode 4. Yeah, I'm forgetting one. There's 3 more, right? This is hard.
It's hard on the top of your
Okay, no,
head.
my bad. Okay, so
Let's put it this way: there's 3 trilogies, 2 extras. That's all you need to do. So you said Empire, New Hope.
You said Empire's your number 1.
Empire's my number 1.
Yes.
Then New Hope, you said, right?
New Hope, yeah.
That's
New
2.
Hope, okay, Empire, New Hope, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Force Awakens.
Last Jedi's that high, huh?
Which one?
Wow.
Last Jedi's that high?
I like it a lot.
Okay. I'm not going to judge it.
I defend The Last Jedi. I'm saying that right now. I defend The Last Jedi.
Hey, listen, I defend The Last Jedi too, but I don't have
at
that
me
high.
on my Twitter, at Mr. TJC 23. I support that movie.
Okay.
But yeah, the worst 3 for me is probably episode 1, 2, and episode 9. I'm sorry. I didn't like the rest.
Don't apologize. There's no apologies here.
Dude, you don't have to apologize for anything. Just go with it. Man. All film subjective, man.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking all year about. Well, we'll be talking all year about this thing. So, what do you think about this season so far, Bert? Before we get into this episode,
I've been loving it. Just my quick thoughts, like overall for season 1, I thought it was probably the most important thing that's come out of Star Wars in a while. Just overall, the first season of the show and what it was done and the hype behind it and everything that happened and Baby Yoda and all the cute stuff that he does. It's just storyline, Din, the bounty hunter stuff. Love it. Season 2, I had a feel, there were rumors for a while that there was going to be, Bo-Katan and Ahsoka and, Boba Fett and all these characters. But I'm loving that it's not being forced, that it's more of a natural turn in the way the story goes. But I'm loving it so far, and I'm excited that I don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. I have an idea what's going to happen, but we'll see. And I will be up at 3:00 in the morning on Friday to watch that. Like I am.
Well, we haven't talking about it, but we are going to get that Avengers moment. They already gave it away.
Oh no, of course.
We're getting that Avengers moment because he's already recruiting. He's already recruiting.
Hyped. Oh my god!
And he's looking to bust Bill Burr out of prison, so that's going to be it. So it's like, here come the Super Friends. And let me ask you again. I already know, but just for the viewers' sake, what'd you think of the last episode? Also,
the
Ed.
Oh,
I'm an Ed.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, we chatted about it, dude. It was phenomenal. I see Tommy's dropping some stuff here. What is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get. Tommy's a big Yankees and Star Wars guy. This show is like tailor made for him. Yeah, we could chat about that at some point. I thought that'd be a good topic of conversation. But I thought the episode was great. It was 32 minutes, but it was like there wasn't a second wasted on it. So it was action packed, and also for such a short episode, it dropped some serious shit in there. I mean, Boba Fett, which every Star Wars fan loves, but I will say, though, and I'll throw it out here to you guys and not rehearse between me and Tim at all, is that I think we talked about this in the past, though, that Boba Fett's a really cool-looking character and gets by on a lot of things that are alluded to with him, like suggested about him, his look. But in this episode, we actually got to see him do it. Like, we got to see him kick serious ass, like John Wick style. And he went ahead and was busting up stormtroopers like we've never seen happen before. Not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shattering fucking helmets. I'm sorry. I don't want to dig Farrick is what we should drop in for like the cursing over there. But like he's busting open helmets left and right, man. So Boba Fett finally lived up to the hype.
With a gaffy stick, no less. He had a gaffy stick from a Sam person, which was awesome, which was one of those little nuggets that you're like, oh, that's cool. But one thing I was laughing at, and I hope they fix it. Of course they're going to fix it because he didn't have time to completely change his clothes. But the half Boba Fett, half hermit costume, I was laughing the whole time.
I think you should do it. I think you should stick with it.
No. He got the one chest piece, the one knee, and the helmet, and the rest is the floating robe. I was like, all right, that's great for now. But I hope he gets his jumpsuit back, his Michael Myers jumpsuit, and puts the armor over it. It looks real weird having that on there. All right, so let's jump into this episode. We'll run through it real quick, and so we'll talk about Easter eggs and all the good stuff. It starts, of course, with Hysterical, the new Abbott and Costello, the new tag team, the new buddy cops. We got the Mando and Grogu running through the flying their way to Typhon, and him teasing him about the Force. Not teasing him, but trying to get him to do the Force and take the ball and take the fall. He finally does it, gets his little ball. Thank Ferrick, he's all happy. He's telling him how special he is. He's going to miss the kid. You know he's going to miss him. But he knows he can't take care of this kid. I have a feeling, I'm telling you right now, this kid's not going to end up in a good way.
He's not going to die. They're not going to kill him. He's not dying.
Maybe not. But he's not going to end up in a good way. That's all I'm saying.
If he dies, the internet will cease to exist. They will not forgive that.
No, little girls and children will have their heads explode. So, all right. So they get to Typhon. Typhon, by the way, is probably their first Easter egg that you want to talk about. Typhon goes all the way back to the Darth Bane series of books.
Yes, sir.
It was first mentioned there as a Jedi planet, very strong, very full of Jedi. That temple that they went to is very powerful.
It's one of the first early temples, I believe.
Yeah, and that's when they were the Jedi, JED apostrophe AII, and they lowered it. He puts the kid on the thing, and then immediately the Force shield comes up. Whatever.
Well, it wasn't immediately. It was.
Well, you know what I mean.
I mean,
after they dropped, I saw they would fly with the windows open. I thought that was a cool reference to them taking the jetpack down. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So
I love too how Din was like, it's like, okay, we're here. Do the Jedi thing.
Yeah, do the thing.
And he was looking for like an on switch or something like that.
So what happens? What happens now?
Do you feel it? Do you feel anything? Like what's going on? So the kid finally falls into his little trance, and he looks up in the sky, and what does he see? A very, very familiar ship to all us nerds, and that is, of course, Boba Fett's ship Slave One. By the way,
I screamed when that shit passed by. Mind you, I'm watching this like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh shit, it's a Slave One.
But here's my question though. And I hope they're gonna have to answer all these questions. Boba Fett goes into the Sarlacc pit. So we have to assume Slave One is still at Jabba's palace somewhere.
Parked around somewhere.
Yeah, parked around somewhere. So we don't know where he was, how long he was in the Sarlacc pit. Did he come out immediately? Was he in there a couple days? We don't know. According to Robot Chicken, he was only in there a couple weeks or whatever. So that was funny. Anyway, he gets out, and Slave One just happened to be sitting there. Why didn't he just get up and take off? Why did he spend all these years on Tatooine wandering around like a hermit?
Well, Tim, I think we're going to get that answer in this Boba Fett miniseries that's being talked about so much.
Oh, I hope
I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't make sense just because if he had his ship, he could take off anytime he wants and leaves. But meanwhile, why is he hanging around in the desert of Tatooine, which nobody should ever do because it's a disgusting planet? Why was he hanging around for those? He was just looking for that armor for all those years? Well, not 30 years. I'm sorry. 6 years.
Yeah, so remember, it hasn't been that far,
It's only been a couple years.
So it's interesting. He might have been in that Sarlacc 2-3 years. We don't know.
It's tough.
I hope we find out in that Boba Fett miniseries.
Tough.
That's gonna be a weird thing. So he finally says he's gonna defend him. He runs down, and who do we see? There he is himself, Tamira Morrison, revising his role as, well, Jango Fett, really.
As my favorite line of the episode, as a man making his way across the galaxy.
Which copied Jango's from episode 2. That was very good.
Mandalorian.
Except he's all Deadpooled up. His face is all screwed up. And he tells him, I want the armor. He told me, if you want this armor, you got to peel it off my dead body, which is awesome. I'm sorry, this show is like the greatest Western ever made. They got to get Clint Eastwood on this show. That would just solidify it.
Maybe the greatest Western direct. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
It would solidify it. I'm telling you right now, it would solidify the show as the greatest Western ever made. That's all it is.
Just get off my lawn, though.
Exactly. Have the hands hiked up to his nipples. Mm-hmm. Get off my lawn, Grogu. It'd be awesome. So then we find out that Boba Fett himself is not alone. He has our old friend. What's her name? Say her name.
Fennec Shand.
Yeah.
All right, she's awesome. She's up on the
I
hill.
was so happy that she didn't die, because now we found out that back in season 1, that the person walking up to her was Boba Fett. That saved her. Which
life.
We
all knew. Which it wasn't confirmed, but everybody kind of had a.
I honestly didn't know, because I didn't think that they were going to bring Boba Fett in until later. But I always thought that was going to be somebody else. I didn't think that was going to be Boba Fett. But I mean, it fits in the story. So
yeah, I didn't think Fennec was. Yeah, I didn't think Fennec was dead though. I pretty much
when you're going to cast somebody, I didn't know who was going to be the one that saved her.
Yeah, you cast somebody like that for a role.
Because Ming-Na Wen, I'm a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, and
so am I.
She was great on that fucking show.
Oh yeah,
and I'm so happy. I'm so massive Star Wars nerd too.
Yep.
I knew her before she was on S.H.I.E.L.D. as just a Star Wars nerd. There was a show on VH1 called When Star Wars Ruled the World a couple years ago. I think back when the special editions came out. She was on that show, looking beyond young and hot. And I'm like, who is this? I'm like, who is this girl?
She was also on 2.5 Men and was one of like Charlie's random girlfriends, which I didn't realize until people on that show. There's tons of people were like in and out of that show and everything, and like I caught up on that show on like reruns, and then I remember I was just watching it one day. I'm like, oh shit, look, it's Agent May. She dated Charlie Harper. Holy shit.
Yeah, because I said, you remember that show that when Star Wars ruled? I went on YouTube. I was like, I want to watch that. I haven't watched that in a long time. And there she was. Meanwhile, I'm like, holy shit, it's Agent May. And she was young, and the first thing she said was, when I was a kid, I was going to marry Luke Skywalker. So when she got cast, I was like, oh, another Star Wars nerd getting her wish to be on Star Wars, which she's gonna do the best she can. And I thought that was awesome. She's not full robot. She just got this little robotic band that kind of keeps her together, which I thought was pretty freaking awesome. Up to this point, you guys have any hidden Easter egg surprises that you guys noticed?
Mine is coming up in the battle right after this.
Bert, what about you? Anything you noticed so far? All right, so let me move on. All right, move on. The conversation between the Boba Fett and the Mandalorian was fantastic. It was just two guys, you take the vows, and he explains that Django. Well, he says, first of all, I don't follow anybody ever, which was kind of awesome too, because that's what Boba Fett should have been. And I said that was Boba Fett's big mistake.
But hold on, didn't that conversation take place after the fight, the crazy fight that we got though, when the stormtroopers came down?
No, it wasn't the first part though. He's talking about not when he shows him the code.
Okay,
no, that's after. Yeah. The first.
I thought both parts of the conversation happened after, but never mind. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, no. The first part was him explaining, did you take the vows? And he said, I don't take vows. I don't follow anybody. That armors belong to my father. Oh, well, your father was a foundling. Now, a foundling just means he was rescued by the Mandalorians, just like Din. But he's not exactly a Mandalorian, even if he never took the vows. So technically, Django is, but isn't a Mandalorian, which explains why he popped his helmet off all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take the vows.
I mean, we'll get to that later. But that was a big part of for canon. Like canon-wise with Boba Fett, that was a big thing that people have been debating if he is a Mandalorian or not, and we pretty much got the confirmation in this episode that he is. Yeah.
Well, also too, you got to also, if you look, as I said back, I don't know how much you were into Legends, Bird, or how much you were back in the day before Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Boba Fett had a completely different background.
Mm-hmm.
He had a different name. He had a different. Well, his original name is supposedly Jasta Mareel, and the planet he was from was called Concord Dawn, which they later brought up in the Clone Wars, which again was fantastic. But his original name, I changed it to Jasta Mareel too. I dumped the Dank Ferric down there. But yeah, and he was from Concord Dawn, and he was this and that. And supposedly Boba Fett took that name. I don't know. But except the Clone Wars came along, they changed it. Episode 2 came along, they completely changed his background, which they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
And I said Clone Wars, they had a lot of stuff about Jasta Mareel. He's actually like one of the greatest Mandalorians ever. He led them into the rebellion, and he is from Concord Dawn, and blah, 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 blah. And that he's also the one who rescued Django. So technically, yeah, he is Mandalorian. So he's a foundling. Yeah. So yeah, who's just bothering me? Okay. All right. So they're in the middle of their conversation, and Boba Fett says, "Look, I'll make you a deal. I'll make sure nothing happens to that kid, but I want my armor back." And just as that's getting underway, here it comes, baby. Here comes 2 fully equipped armored battle.
One initially.
Oh yeah, the first one came on
first. Yeah.
And now one of the coolest battles. This is one of the coolest battle scenes ever. And again, this is the kind of solidifies that stormtroopers can't hit shit. But what are you going to do? You're fighting a Mandalorian. Well, don't forget, Din took off to protect the child, so it was only Boba Fett and Jaina. Shut up. And it only took her. I'm sorry about that. It only took Din and Fat they were fighting by themselves against this whole trooper storm, and they waxed the shit out of these stormtroopers. You guys talk for a second. Go ahead. I'm having an issue here. Talk. No, I gotta mute my mic.
No, well, Boba Fett was like, that's what we were talking about. He was whooping ass like John Wick over there, like taking all these stormtroopers out left and right. And they've hammered it home pretty hard on this show that stormtroopers can't hit shit. But whatever.
What I'm loving about this is that with every episode, unless you know the director's work, you don't have no idea who's directing the episode until the end.
Exactly.
Until it finishes. Yeah. With the action, I had forgotten that Robert Rodriguez had taken the picture with Baby Yoda and was announced as one of the directors for the season.
Yeah.
As soon as this whole sequence started, I'm like, oh, I know who directed this episode. Because the action in this was incredible. Like the way that Boba used the stick to like destroy. Like we've seen stormtroopers get destroyed before, but the way that I think it was the last shot, the last sequence. He dragged it in the dirt and it like slammed it and hit the guy up, and like he did. Not only you finish the shot, but like you go back and you see the stormtrooper on the floor and he's just like completely caved in.
He's all mangled up and everything.
Like, wow. Like if that wasn't saying like, hey, for those of you questioning the toughness and why Boba Fett is so awesome, this is why. Mm-hmm. And that was even before he got his armor back, which I saw it coming a mile away. Din coming back in after trying to get the child out from the Jedi, the Force, the
Seeing
Force
Stone.
Yeah. And him and what's her name? And Ming Na Wei. I'm gonna just use her because I remember her. I don't remember her name. Fennec. There you go. Yeah. But when Fennec and Din are fighting off the stormtroopers, and then you just see the thermal detonator go off, and then Fett just drops down. Perfect shot, perfectly framed. Stormtrooper turns around. Boom. When I tell you I lost my shit watching this. I lost my shit. This was so good because in the original trilogy they only showed certain things that he did. Obviously, one because of limitations at the time for what you can do, and also because of the time the character has on screen. But the shot of him using the knee rockets from his knees, that's something that's directly from the books, which is awesome. And him, taking out the 2 transporters with the rocket the same way that Buddy did in episode 1. Mm-hmm. And that turnaround shot when he turns around and like it crashes, it's like yes, like this
Western. It's a Western.
So good.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
And I love how the internet kind of fat shamed Boba, like Fat Boba with the armor. But it's like, come on, guys. But honestly though, like I know 100% that Tamora Morrison did all those fight scenes by himself. Like you can tell because that guy. Legend and like choreography and like very physical scenes, very very game for that. And that was awesome.
I'd like to be that fat. I'd like to be that fat as him.
Right?
Give me a break. I think it had more to do with the tight chest plate and the flowing robe. It kind of gave him a little more.
I think it's used to because we've only seen Boba Fett like with that type of color under the armor. We haven't seen it with like other type of material, so it looks weird. So it's like, oh, it looks like it's not because remember, armor is just like the elbow, the chest. It's not the whole thing. Like he just wore white because it flowed better. That's why I think
it's just a jumpsuit with a chest plate, a helmet, and knee pads.
Yeah,
like when you really look at it.
Well, and he also did he did the pose too, like when he was like that. I was like, oh, that's sick, so good.
Well, I'll tell you though, we did see this guy. I mean, I'm sure I know Tim story, but in Aquaman, he was in Aquaman. He was Aquaman's pops, and he didn't look too like. I didn't think he looked fat. He looked kind of, kind of built. Yeah, not saying like
he's in good shape for his age.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah. There you
No, that's so he looked like he could definitely hold his own, and like you were saying, he looked like he did his own stunts. And I also forgot that Robert Rodriguez was doing an episode this season, and I love, like, Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico and all of that, like, El Mariachi and everything. Like, I've seen those movies, and I love his action. Even like Planet Terror is wacky as hell, but I mean, it's
Spy
you
Kids.
can
Kids
say.
is fun.
I have not seen Spy Kids. I'm not a Spy Kids guy, but I know he's done it. I'm aware he's done the stuff, but there was also one thing in that battle though where Fennec turns around and does this like falling away shot, which was an Easter egg.
It's the 360 no scope. The jump.
Yes,
What?
But that was an ode to Desperado when he uses that shot in that as well. So that was where Robert Rodriguez threw in that little Easter egg, which I recognized immediately and thought was awesome.
And very Hawkeye-ish too from Avengers. Don't forget, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just another way for stormtroopers to get fucked up. Like that boulder, like when the guy was shooting the boulder, I'm like, just stop, just let it come and just take it.
And I like the lead stormtrooper who kept saying go. And he's like go, and then he goes go, and he realizes he's by himself, and he's the guy that got smashed. He turns around. There's Boba Fett with the gaffy stick. Wham! And you just see chunks of helmet go. I was like, oh my god! I wanted to scream too. Like I said, it's 3 a.m. I can't scream and wake up the whole house up. But I mean, it was like a lifelong dream come true. But it's true. Now people can say Boba Fett is a badass. Stop saying he's not a badass. Anyone who read the books, though, in the comics and legend wouldn't know he's a badass. But it's the same thing as Luke. When you really break it down, is Luke a badass in the original trilogy? No, he's really not. When you really think about it,
I agree with you to an extent, but when the way he shows up at Jabba's palace in the beginning of Jedi, you kind of have this feeling where they're all like, "Oh shit," like, all right, it's this guy. So let's just, it's alluded to. It is alluded to, but I'll agree with you. Tommy's comment did phrase it perfectly, and it's kind of what I had said to Angie, was like, it's like Vader in Rogue One. In Rogue One, we got that scene at the end, which was a reshoot scene thrown in at the last minute, which was incredible to know that wasn't even originally planned. Yeah, and I was watching Rogue One the other day again, and I saw he's whooping ass, and we saw super intimidating evil Vader just lighting people up, and that's what they gave us in this episode of Boba Fett. We got to see exactly how badass he could be on screen.
And
it doesn't make sense too.
There's going to be more.
Yeah, yes. One thing that makes sense about that, when you're bringing up that part, they went back and asked Disney, can we put this scene in here? And they're like, yeah, of course. All right, we're going to do this Vader scene where he's kicking ass and chopping people in half. And then they're like, by the way, can we kill everybody off? They're like, of course. Kill everyone. And they're like, we can? They're like, yeah, kill everyone. How are you going to explain where all these people are in episode 4? Don't forget, episode 4 starts right after Rogue One. How are you going to explain where the rest of these guys are? You can't. So you know what? You kill them all. So I don't know how one way Disney did this and one day they did that. I don't know. It's a weird thing. But that's a whole other story, too. Let's get back to the Mandalorian, because it's the best thing going today right now.
Well, guys, to answer Tommy's question before we move forward, though, he's asking, will they explain why Boba Fett saved Fennec? What was the real motivation for that? Besides him did he feel like he needed a sidekick, like a sharpshooter, to help him out with whatever it is that he's trying to do?
He probably needed her because if I'm assuming that he was there at the end when he saved her, he probably saw what happened between her and Mando, and the other guy, Bobby Cannavale's kid. So obviously he probably helped her, and then was like, "Hey, this is a Mandalorian. Maybe he knows, where my armor is." Da 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 da. And then, hey, I could work. Hey, I'll save your life, because that's another thing too. So Boba, in this episode, because most people when they think of Boba Fett, think, oh, he's evil. Like, he's not evil. He's more. He has a very very strict code, more of a reciprocal type of thing. Like in this episode, like with Fennec, he's like, hey, I'll save your life. Now Fennec, Fennec is also respectable too. Like, okay, I'm in your debt, and the same thing happens in this episode. At the end, where we got the awesome reveal of the dark troopers,
Yes.
which was sick. Seeing that in live action. That, I mean, props to ILM Television for doing this, because the effects on this show are like there's no blemish. When it doesn't even feel weird. Like, you know, you watch CGI, you see some CGI sometimes it looks out of place or it looks too dull. Like everything on this show, it looks perfect. But when they come,
did you watch the making of on Disney Plus of this show?
I watched all of them. I watched the whole thing. Yeah, that was
how awesome is that screen though?
Yeah,
it's not just a green screen.
Bubble.
The screen goes all the way around the room.
It's a whole circle. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And like you said, you look like they're in the desert. No, they're not. They're in a goddamn studio somewhere.
Yep.
They look like they're on Typhon.
Like they build the actual sets that they're on.
Yeah,
that they're going to use, but more or less the whole environment is all Unreal Engine, which is awesome. Hey, shout out to Eric.
What's up, Eric? Well, absolutely,
for sure.
Tommy,
the
Super Friends are getting together. The band's getting back together.
Yeah,
we're getting everybody in these last 2 episodes. I have a feeling,
but I don't think Ahsoka's going to be in there though.
Really?
I don't think so. I think her episode was just a one-off for her. I don't think, because she really has nothing to do with the main story.
No, we're definitely going to get Bo-Katan. We'll probably get the Owls.
Sure.
We'll get the Night Owls. We're going to get Bill Burr back, which is hysterical.
Yeah,
he was fantastic. Yeah, he was fantastic.
Tatooine having a couple drinks.
And then we're going to get... We got Gina Carano. Obviously, we make it Apollo Creed. We don't know. Yes, I'm calling them by their fake names. But instead, we're going to have an all-star team going after this kid. And once they find out they have the Darksaber, it's going to be on big time. So I think these last 2 episodes are going to be crazy.
So that's the next thing we can get into. So when I initially saw the title of the episode, I was like, oh, here we go. The tragedy. This is going to be, this something bad's going to happen here. And they flipping destroyed the dang Ferric Razor Crest. That was heartbreaking, because that ship, that's like the heart of the show. I mean, besides the kid, but the ship, and especially Din's relationship with the ship, and this season in particular, how it was like almost got destroyed, and he fixed it. Well, he barely fixed it, and then finally fixed it. Went to this planet to do this mission. Was gonna go out to to get the child, and they just let's just blow up the ship. I was just like, wow, like that's heartbreaking. And of course, the ball is still there, of course.
You found the ball.
Which was great. And the Beskar staff, obviously, hell yeah, he's going to need that. So I'm hyped for that. But hey, like we said, like we mentioned earlier, so then we have the scene where Boba Fett literally shows him, which I love. I didn't know that was something that was in his armor. That he actually had like a encoding that said, hey, this has been in my family for 25 years. My father was a foundling.
Actually, it was translated. The nerds translated it.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, I didn't know that, but I'm saying, like, the concept. Like, I didn't know that you could do that with that, but that was cool.
Because listen, remember that Mandalorian is a different language than Orobesh, which is the Star Wars English.
Yeah.
Which I don't know it, but I have some of it tattooed on my body, for Christ's sake. But Mandalorian is a completely different language, and the nerds are out there. And they did it, and it says right on it. It says Jasmine Real, Concord Dawn, Mandalorian, Boba Fett. I was like, wow, they went out and really did their homework.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts that they did that. Anyway, so we'll get back. We'll say they win the battle. It's pretty awesome. The Razor Crest gets destroyed. Boba Fett tells them, hold on. Then we see the Dark Troopers come out of the ship. Iron Man style. They should have played AC/DC when those things got released. How did you not play AC/DC when those ships when they're coming down? Because that's what it looked like. It looked like Stark suits. So I mean, it was a badass. But yeah, those guys came out from a video game. Like I said, you got to give credit to Filoni. You got to give credit to Jon Favreau for bringing all these guys out from a video game, from an old forgetted video game. They're bringing crap out of here. That's 95 before graphics were graphics. So imagine that. And so the child heartbreakingly gets taken. I knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Kid's going down. I'm sorry to say it. I'm betting on it.
Well, continue with the episode there, because there was more than what we saw later on with the child. His own.
Which was I was actually physically laughing out loud. We'll get to that part. So anyway, like you said, Boba Fett shows him the codec tells him, this is my armor. I'm not just bullshitting you. My father was this, that, found like Mandalorian. Yeah, we're all good. And I will help you get the kid back. He says, no, you don't have to. He says, no, I do have to. I promise you, if you get my armor, I'm in your debt. So now you got them three teaming up. Awesome. He goes to see Gina. He goes to see Gina Carano. Says, I need your help. She's like, well, I'm kind of like a badass and New Republic chick now. I don't know. But he says, well, they got the kid. Boom. The kid's gonna pull all the heartstrings on everybody. Mm-hmm. So now she's getting involved. So right there, you got four. You got a force. You got the 4 horsemen right there, ready to go after this kid. We're gonna see who else is coming. And again, you flash ahead to the Star Destroyer, if that's what they're calling them. We have to call them the Star Destroyer anyway.
Yeah.
And Moff Gideon, who was very giddy, got that kid, very happy, sees the kid. And when those doors open, I could not stop laughing. All you see is stormtroopers getting bounced off the walls, and Grogu's little hand just chucking him back and forth. But you can see, what's great too? You can see him getting tired. You can see it's taking a lot out of him. And he's and Gideon's sitting there laughing hysterically. These 2 troopers behind him, like, did we shoot this thing? And he's like, no, relax, and boom, bouncing them off the wall. And finally, that one big, where they slam together.
That's a common thing though. Grogu constantly, he can't use the Force for too long.
Yeah,
that's been a thing since season 1. He uses it for maybe a couple minutes, or unless he does something really powerful, and he just because everything he does is so cute. Oh my god! Even when he's tired, he's just like, yeah.
And he lays down. It's just like falls over and goes to sleep. Yeah, well,
and they put handcuffs on him. How sick is that?
I'm just glad they had handcuffs.
You know that's going to be the next. Do you know that's going to be the next Funko Pop? Handcuffed Grogu.
Right? Like I said, Gideon rolls up on him and tells him, "That took a lot out of you. You just want to take a little nap now, don't you?" Like, arrogant,
so sleepy.
And he says, "He whips out the darksabers. You want this, huh? Kind of like you want this, don't you? Kind of like the Empress said, you want this, don't you? Like you want it. You want to take a shot at me."
I think that's a thing too that he's trying to get him to, because Ahsoka mentioned it. If Grogu,
he's fragile.
If Grogu gets detached, it might end up going really bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be more susceptible to going dark.
Yeah.
And I think
Grogu wanted that dark saber.
And I think Moff Gideon knows that. I think he is knowledgeable in the Force a little bit. Not like he has the Force, but that he knows of it and he knows, the meanings behind it and stuff.
Yeah, so Bert, no Boston accent, please. And
okay,
send me my hero. That is all. Thanks, Eric. You know, I got you back. You know the deal. By the way, big announcement coming tomorrow on the Just Too Sweet show. Big announcement, so we'll be ready for that too. Ooh. So he knows this kid passes out, and the funny thing is, they knock him out. Let's put him to sleep. What do they knock him out with? The good old stun gun that we haven't seen since episode 4, the circle. Yep. And I saw that, I was like, I was happy about that because it was a little circle that knocked out Princess Leia all the way back in the floor. Yeah, and then they cuff him, and they had little tiny cuffs. Just happened to have little child size.
I'm glad they had those in stock. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? Ed, they were laser cuffs, so maybe they can adjust them.
I'm busting chops, of course.
Maybe they can adjust them to fit the little hands. Just fit the little hands. So, that's how that episode ends, with Gideon with a big, huge smile on his face. Shit's about to get real. We know 4 people are going after him. We don't know who else he's going to recruit. Like I said, they're going to try to bust out Mayfield now. Will Mayfield bust out his other 2 buddies? Well, there you go. That vicious bitch, the Twi'lek, and the big giant freak. We don't know. They might not be as friendly as Mayfield.
I don't think so.
Brown.
They might not be as receptive as Mayfield might be.
Yeah.
Being a human and all.
I was surprised that he was going to even get him out, because I'm like, you have bad blood there. Like, you literally left them in the Republic.
Business is business.
That's true.
Business is business. We got to do what's right for business.
You see, now that's another thing that I just want to say too. That in this season, it's been more of a theme of Din becoming less and less hesitant with people. Like, he's being more open to working with people, and saying, and talking with them, and not just shooting first, asking questions later. Which, I mean, is fine if you're just bounty hunting, but now he's asking, like, hey, you know what, maybe I can get something out of this, so I can not just do everything on my own, because he's learning to
Yeah.
trust people more.
Well, the Mandalorians aren't a friendly bunch, and they're not a trusting bunch. So you can see why he might be going a little slow. This
Yeah.
what this look at the
Of
face.
course.
Look what that face does to people.
Yeah.
People all over the world are dying because of this face.
Hungry ass baby.
Imagine he
Jesus.
dies. What's going to happen when he dies? What's going to happen?
Tim, I think this was your Empire Strikes Back episode that you were looking for, because I mean, Moff Gideon essentially did win this episode. The Empire, if you want to call it that, they did.
It's not enough.
I'm just saying, I think this is as far as it's going. I don't think they're getting any further than that.
If the next episode gets just a little bit more darker,
I think the next episode is probably going to be a 2-parter for the finale.
I want darker. Someone's got to go. Whether it's Apollo Creed, Grief Karga, someone's got to go.
Grief Karga would go way before Grogu does. I'm sorry.
Even a Mayfield. I mean,
fine.
Like Mayfield's one of those guys you're supposed to hate him. You can't hate him. You can't hate Bill Burr. Bill Burr is
I love Bill Burr.
I
loved when he showed up last season. I was not expecting
it. Was a shock. I was like, Bill Burr is in this show?
Oh
One of my favorite comedians, and he's such an asshole, but in a funny way. So if he goes, I'll be upset. But I think you need that. This wasn't the Empire moment yet. You need a death. You need a death of a beloved character. It will not be Grogu yet.
It's not going to be Grogu.
It's not going to be Grogu yet. But you may have to kill off a Grief Karga or
I can see Cara Dune dying.
Really? I don't know.
Like as like a sacrifice, like that type of thing. I could see that happening.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I still have my hopes for that Charlie Angels type series with Cara Dune and Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan. That's a spinoff. That's gonna happen. So that can't happen just yet, man.
We'll see.
Yeah. You know what, Tommy?
But also, we didn't even talk about it.
Every nerd in the world's head would explode if he dies, because you just brought him back. You just gave him a purpose. You just gave him meat, a juicy part, and then they kill him. Not this season.
Well, Tommy's other question, though, to answer Tommy's other question, though, this speculated Boba Fett series, from what I understand, is they didn't set an exact thing, but the belief is that it would be what happens with him after the Sarlacc pit. That's been anything I've read has suggested that's what it's going to be about.
I think we talked about that, Ed, because that would work only in a flashback type show. I don't want to watch him crawl out of Starlight and hang out in the desert for 6 years, because guess what? That show's called Obi-Wan, which we'll be getting in the following year. Hanging out in the desert for 20 years, waiting for Luke to get older and watching.
Hold on though. From what I've seen though, the Boba Fett show is only supposed to be a mini series. So I think it would just be kind of like fill in the blank series. No, but I mean is that the other ones, there's no intention for a second season with that. It's supposed to just be like 6 episodes and just a very brief thing. There is zero intention on the second season. Mandalorian. I think Obi-Wan is going to be, I know from what they're saying it's going to be called Kenobi, but I think Kenobi is supposed to have multiple seasons. It's not going to be just a one-off and that's it. So that's what I mean by the term even miniseries. So from what I've read, I don't think anyone's ever confirmed anything officially, but it's supposed to be him.
It might work now because now we know he still has Slave One. So maybe he did leave.
Exactly.
And he comes back for the armor and he's wandering around.
The ship was good.
Maybe we find out he has a history with Fennec. Maybe Fennec and him have worked together. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe. I'm just throwing shit at the wall right now with that. But
I would just like it. I would like it. If that was a flashback show. In other words, if he's in that Sarlacc and you see like it fucking explodes and his hand comes out, he gets out and he does that roll over with the overhead shot and you see his face. And it kind of like shit, what did I get myself into? And then you flash back to maybe him doing something badass back in the day. You come back to him again. You go back, kind of that kind of thing. I think that would work.
Okay, like Arrow, kind of like Arrow a little bit was.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see that.
Kind of like you go back and forth where he's rebuilding his shit and getting his light. He's got to be all messed up. We saw what his face looks like.
Yeah.
And just Sarlacc digests you for over 1,000 years. The fact that he gets out is ridiculous in itself. So I would love to see that, and I would love to see that scene. But if it flashback, because it's true, he made a mistake. The first time he decides to compromise his beliefs, he died for it. He got killed. He got thrown into a Sarlacc for it because he never would have done that for anybody. But Jabba offered him the right amount of money. I want you to stay here. I want you to be like my thing. And usually he would say, "Dude, fuck off. I'm going to do my own thing. I go where I have to go. I don't follow anybody." The first time he fucked up, it cost him a lot. So I'd like him to have that regretful moment. Like,
Tim, are you saying that Boba Fett sold out?
Yes. Yes. I'm saying
maybe he was too high. He was too high on spice.
That's true.
Yeah,
He was too excited.
Maybe we find out that he had a spice problem for like 5 years.
He mentions that in the episode, which is awesome.
He mentioned it. Yeah, spice
train. See, they're back. He's like,
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I always defend the special edition changes. I'll defend most of them. I'll defend if there's 100 of them. I'll defend 98 of them.
I'll name one you can't.
No. I'll defend that. But the one I won't defend is Boba Fett macking on hot chicks in Jabba's palace, where he like touches her chin and is acting all.
It was just a chin touch. He wasn't macking on her.
That's not
a chin touch. Come on.
Not Boba Fett. The real Boba Fett is when he's just standing there. When they walked in, he was standing there. And the original I'm talking about, no special edition. He stood there. When they walked in, he's still standing there. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, his job, not hitting on some Twi'lek green chick. No, I hated that. That's the part I hated the most about that special edition.
What did Boba Fett just, he got a little Captain Kirk in him. He just wanted to, he was trying to get down.
You know what? And that's why he ends up at the bottom of the Sarlacc. He sold out, and he got beat up for it.
That could be the story. Like, I see Tommy's over here asking, he went ahead and his scars tell a different story. Maybe we find out it's not just from the Sarlacc pit. Maybe we find out this whole other thing. Cool. You got 5 years to play with, honestly. You really do. So,
like I said, now the big questions have to be answered, because if he had his ship that whole time, he could have left anytime. Why wander Tatooine for 6 years?
But maybe he did. He did go from Tatooine that we know of. He went from Tatooine to Typhon. Right? I mean, he could have been all over the place. He could have been bounty hunting. I mean,
exactly, Eric.
He could have been.
Eric, he's Boba Fett. He's not Lando. Lando can hang out with the chicks. Even Han can hang out with the chicks pre-Leia.
Absolutely, Han can.
Absolutely.
Not Boba Fett. Not Boba Fett. I'm sorry. Not Boba Fett. How do you like a guy with a helmet on? You don't know what he looks like.
Hey, no, listen, last season, what was it? That episode that Bryce Dallas Howard did with ATST or whatever?
The chick.
That chick was all about Din Djarin. She was ready. She was like, take the helmet off.
She wanted to know the way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
She wanted to know the way.
I can't believe the Redskins are winning. I'm sorry. I had to put that out there.
Are they?
2017 with 2 minutes to go.
Oh my God.
They just scored a field goal.
This is ridiculous. What's the wrong?
This is not the way.
Let's get back to it.
Who do you guys
Don't tell me shit like that.
Who do you guys think Grogu spoke to?
That's another major.
That went on for like 5 minutes. Like he had a good 5-minute forced conversation there.
I won't even begin to do it, only because, like you said, I can't say so many possibilities, but there's quite a few possibilities.
There's technically only two.
I think it's Ezra Bridger.
Ahsoka
I said that last week.
Ahsoka did say there was not that many Jedi left, so that could be any amount of number. We don't know who survived. We don't know who else they're going to bring in. So it's got to be Luke, Leia, Ezra. Who was the other one? Quinlan Voss. Didn't he survive?
Well, you said at this point in time, I think you said he would be alive.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like 5 people right off the bat that he could be talking to, unless they're going to bring in someone new.
But also,
stop saying Mace Windu. Mace Windu's dead.
No, I don't want to see Mace Windu. I think Mace Windu. I don't want to see.
He should be dead. He should be dead.
But I think if you I don't think it's going to be, because I think they're saving Ezra, because I heard there's going to be a new animated. I don't know if it's going to be animated or not, but another show spinoff continuation of what happened in Rebels that Ahsoka is going to be in. That's why they introduced her in her own episode. So I think they're saving Ezra for that, because Ezra communicating with the child when he's in the unknown regions, it doesn't connect.
Why you guys don't make him Boba Fett?
See? Tommy
Man whore.
knows what's up. Exactly.
You're all turning Boba Fett into a man whore.
Listen, you might find out he's a pimp.
It's tough out there in the galaxy.
It's in the outer rim.
Yeah, especially in the outer rim.
Exactly.
There's no love in the outer rim. I like I was saying, I think Ezra, I don't think that's going to be it.
By the way, interception. Redskins just got the ball back already. They're going to win the game.
That's not good. Don't give us these kind of things.
The internet said Mace Windu. It's a popular.
No, Tommy said Mace. I thought Tommy said Mace Windu last week on here.
He's dead.
You know what? I think because this show, there's so much secrecy in the show. Actors obviously signed a whole bunch of NDAs. Lucasfilm will definitely not reveal it or tease it.
And everyone wants to do it. We're getting it right now. Everyone wants to be on the show.
I think Luke is going to be in the last episode.
Luke?
I think it's going to be Luke. I think it's going to be not for long. It's probably going to be like a cameo.
No, don't do that again.
No. Look. I think cameo to end the season. Like if the last shot of the 8th episode, which I believe is written by Jon Favreau, if Luke shows up to either help or answer Grogu's call, or message or communication, and that's the way the second season ends. Holy shit! And we get that going into season 3. I think that's the only plausible thing.
And I would not be happy. Why would I be happy?
I mean, it's fine. But I'm just thinking
about how Force Awakens ended.
Okay,
and it was a horrible tease. Horrible tease.
I actually like that.
No, I liked it at the time. But then once you saw how he was in Last Jedi, I was like,
yeah, but you know that wouldn't be fumbled this time around.
Of course, they're
not.
This is a different medium.
Exactly. Tommy led the question. Gil, since you believe it's going to be Luke, do you think it's a recasting like a Sebastian Stan, or do you think it's de-aged Mark Hamill?
Has Sebastian Stan posted anything on social media in a while?
Don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. If anything,
I know
I
know he's been filming. I know he's been finishing up filming Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that's been in post production for a minute though now. So
if he's done, because remember they filmed this. Everything in season 2 has already been done.
Yeah.
So he could have gone to LA for a day or two because look, nobody thought that Ahsoka Tano live action would work, but they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't think about it at first, but when you look at Rosario Dawson, she does look like an older Ahsoka, which is what I liked. Mm-hmm. And Luke, with Sebastian Stan, he doesn't look exactly like Mark Hamill, but you can make it up. You can, make it up.
He looks close enough to me to be a younger Mark Hamill.
Remember, if it's going to be Luke, it's going to be Luke, Jedi Master in his prime, black suit, going around. Because during this time, for those of you who don't know, I think Battlefront 2, which I have that story mode references it, that he's basically going around collecting different Jedi and Sith artifacts, not necessarily fighting people, but just kind of exploring and doing things. So he has plenty of time to have Force conversations with little baby Yoda children if it happens. So it's not like he's busy somewhere. This is way before, he has his exile. Because I don't even think Ben is born yet at this point. This is only 5 years. That's maybe another 5 or 10 years. So if he shows up, I think it's fine. And I don't think it would retroactively do anything to the sequel trilogy because it's too long of a separation.
Yeah.
And I think too, I think also maybe they want to do it because they want to apologize or maybe kind of say, hey, look, this is this is the Luke you wanted to see, so here it is. Like if he just comes in and just kills Moff Gideon and just helps Din, I think Din regardless is going to keep the child going forward.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think if Luke just shows up and just beats badass for like 10 minutes and we get like a Vader-esque sequence with Luke,
that would be fine.
The child,
that would be fine.
That would be amazing. I think that would be fine. And if he doesn't show up again, fine. But I think to end the season, that would be awesome. Because like I said, I'm thinking there's no other major Jedi that are alive. It's only him. Ezra's in the unknown regions. That's it. Like who else is going to be there?
It's not Mace Windu, Tommy.
It's not Mace Windu.
not.
Mace Windu he broke his arm was torn off. He was electrocuted, like not for a second, for like 5 minutes. He was heavily electrocuted.
Unless
From
someone
off a
actually
building.
caught him, like a ship was going by and he landed
He
on
would
a
have
ship.
died anyway.
in the backseat.
He would have died anyway.
Like Back to the Future 2 still? Like he just kind of drops in there?
Like Last Action Hero. He just happens to fall into the backseat. What are you doing?
Yes.
I don't know. I just fell in the backseat of the speeder.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to take you home with me. Okay, let's go.
Okay.
And Mace Windu's been hanging out for 30 years, just armless, doing nothing. No, but let me, Tommy, real quick, I'm going to tell you why I don't want him back. Samuel L. Jackson, one of the greatest actors of all time. You cannot find a bad job that he did in a movie except in the Star Wars series. He was god awful. He is not a Jedi. He should have been any other character, and he would have been fine. I think he was a terrible Jedi. Terrible Jedi.
You can cloud that same argument with like 20 characters in the prequels.
Because he's not a film director. He doesn't. He doesn't like actors.
Yeah, but he's
George
not
Lucas
a.
was not a director, like a real director.
But that's not Samuel Jackson. He's not a peaceful, at peace Jedi. That's not him.
Well, Mace wasn't necessarily a peaceful Jedi. He
was a dick.
He used I forget the name of the fighting style that he uses, but it's very
Terakasi.
Like, yeah, he taps into the dark side, so he's not necessarily a goody two shoe Jedi. Like he's a little dark,
bitch.
which I've always liked.
He's a bitch, and Qui-Gon was a hippie. Come on, let's get on with this crap. All right, you have your prediction, Ed. We have your predictions. Any predictions for the last 2 episodes?
I told you last week. I think we're getting the Avengers style team up from everybody. I personally think it's going to be Ezra Bridger because I think they're trying to bring in characters from Rebels and Clone Wars to the live action universe to introduce them into it. I also
wanted to say too, if that happens, I'm fine with that. But I'm just saying, I think it's gonna.
No, it's fine. No, and guess what? If it turns out to be Luke, I will lose my shit and I will be fucking absolutely hysterical. But I'm just trying to say, if I was putting money on this, I would think that's gonna be Ezra Bridger. Grand Admiral Thrawn was already mentioned, and then that whole thing. And I know they vanished at the end of Rebels and all of this. So the question is, what exactly is going on with it? I think that's where they're gonna pick this up. I also think we're going to see Ahsoka Tano again. I think we're going to see Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, all of them are going to all team up, and it's going to be bananas. Maybe Grogu does the circles instead of Doctor Strange, and people start popping out. Who knows? It could be crazy. Listen, maybe we'll get crazier. Maybe Mace Windu is in this, and guess what? Maybe Falcon is playing Mace Windu. Anthony Mackie might as well be Mace Windu. Let's go all in, and he could just tell Din Djarin, I'm on your left, and he comes in and let's go. No, none of that's happening. That's ridiculous.
It sounds like the filibuster. Patton Oswalt's filibuster.
Yeah, from Parks and Rec. It was so good.
No. In all seriousness, though, I think.
And then Thanos invades the Star Wars universe
because he has the gauntlet.
Because he has the
Boba Fett comes out of the Sarlacc pit. That was great. And he did that for like 30 minutes on his own. By the way, if you ever seen that behind the scenes.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's
they said just
like
go, just ramble. He went like an hour, just rambled, and they just filmed it and let him talk. It was ridiculous. It's probably one of the greatest things ever.
No, I think we're getting Ezra Bridger. I think that's who's communicated. I think we see Ahsoka again. Huge battle in the last episode.
Where do you think they're gonna go
for this battle?
Where do you think Moff is going?
Man,
that's a good question.
Well, remember
the base.
I know he's meeting with a Dr. Pershing.
Yeah, he sent a message him that they have to let them know that they have the child. So I think that's what we're going to get more of in the episode, of a focus on what's going on with that. We'll probably get some Mando still getting his team together, and then last episode, bananas, battle that goes on, and it's just some wild shit.
Do you guys want to see Grogu talk?
No,
not yet.
No,
you can keep this. You can keep this gimmick going a little bit further. I think it's fine with the way he's.
You think next season he's gonna like grow a little taller, like kind of do like a teenage Groot type of thing?
I hope not. Let him stay the way he is. He's 50 years old already.
He does age really slow.
That's true.
What if you find out that Grogu speaks perfect basic and Yoda's just an idiot for speaking the way he speaks?
Maybe
it's possible.
That would be funny.
I think they should dive into that. That's exactly why Yoda is speaking the way he is, and then we'll find out a lot more.
Grogu's voice, Sam Elliott. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes.
Man, I think Anthony Mackie as Mace Windu just became so much more
God.
believable.
All right, Eddie, did we miss any Easter eggs? I don't think we did. I think we hit everything, didn't we?
I don't have anything. I think that's
We
Boba
got,
had
all I got.
we got the
Boba had
Boba
a-
stuff.
Yeah, he had the
Dark
gaffy
Troopers,
stick.
Yeah.
gaffy
I think that's
stick.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we can wrap it up for this week. And I said 3 a.m. Friday. 3 a.m. Friday. I will be up.
God bless you guys, because I can't.
I only do that because one, I'm super excited for the show, but also spoilers because Twitter has no cap, so Twitter is already like at 3. I've done it before.
Yeah.
At the same time, literally it'd be like at 3:30. The episode's not even over yet. There's already spoilers on Twitter. I'm like, God, what are you guys doing?
I stay pretty
Go to
clear of
sleep.
social media on the Friday morning, so because I actually have some stuff to do, run into the office and stuff, so I'm pretty occupied.
Well, the only reason I can do it is because my building is empty because we're moving.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in my building, so I can literally go to work and go to sleep for 3 hours, and no one will bother me. So that's why that's the only reason I can do it. If I had to work a normal full day, I wouldn't be able to do it. But screw it.
I got to get up at 8:30. I can't do the 3 a.m. till 4 a.m. and then go back to bed. It's no.
All right, so we all have our predictions. Well, my prediction:
go for it.
pain,
All right.
pain. That's it. Pain and suffering
for Grogu.
for Grogu.
That's
No,
not yet.
Not yet. Dude, how great would it be if Grogu went Sith? Oh my God, that would be awesome.
I would like that. That'd be cool.
Dark side Grogu
Yeah.
versus Luke. See, now we're getting crazy. Now we're
Tim-
filibustering.
Tim wants Grogu to be ripped apart like Wolverine by the Hulk, and he wants
No,
Grogu.
I just don't want it to be the teddy bear picnic like I the Jedi. I want bad things have to happen in order for the good things to be better. You can't just have good. You gotta have it. You gotta have a couple of really nasty bad things happen in the middle. That's all. That's all I mean.
And Dave Filoni and John Favreau, I trust.
I do.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
If they said we're gonna do a Greedo show, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking in.
Yeah.
I want to see young Greedo. I'll watch all 10 episodes of young Greedo. No problem. I don't care what they want to do. Whatever they want to do, I'm in. I'm all for it. All right, guys. We have to get this game. Freaking Steelers lost to the Redskins. Just when the Giants win and could take a stranglehold of the NFC East, the Steelers got to lose their first game of the year. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, that's a whole nother. That's a Thursday show. Speaking of other shows, tomorrow night the Just Too Sweet show. We got a little bit of an announcement we're going to make. Well, I'm going to make.
I have no idea what it is.
We're going to have our first special guest. You know about it. You were on the chat before.
Oh, okay.
It's been confirmed.
Wow. Okay.
We're gonna have our first
awesome
guest of the show,
nice.
and it's cool. It's a cool guest. We'll put it that way.
Ray Traylor's sister.
It is not Ray Traylor's sister.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm out. I tried. Never mind.
If I can get Ray Traylor's sister, Ed, just for you, I will get her. I promise.
I don't even know if he has a sister.
Wednesday, put it in the books. Thursday, the We Stomped You Out show for your first place New York Giants. I know Jader and Kyle are trying to come back this week. I don't know exactly when. I don't know if Four Quarters should also be back this week. Align, I think, is back from his birthday week in Orlando. Eric, you should be very happy. He's probably all tan for you. And, those are the shows for the week. Make sure you watch. Make sure you share them out. Make sure you like us on all our social media nonsense. And this is the way. Ed, any final words?
This is the way.
This is the way. That's it. That's all I got for you. And I'm waiting for that show to happen. I'm still waiting for it.
Bert, I want to thank you for joining us this week. Our very special guest. You got any parting words before we go?
This is the way.
It is the way. 3 a.m. Anybody want? Yeah, put on a mask. That's true. And put on a helmet.
Put on a helmet.
It works just as much. And don't take it off.
There's no COVID in Star Wars.
Exactly.
Be like the Mandalorian. Do not take your helmet off or your mask
and
off.
Also, guys, don't forget the A to Z show is also this week. Also, I think.
Eric, I apologize. It's a new show. I completely forgot. A to Z show. You're right, Bert. I'm going to take shit for that one, Bert. You just threw me under the proverbial bus on that one.
Like that. I just did it because it's okay. We got.
But that's all right.
It's a team. It's a team. You know what I'm saying?
You all right. He has a special guest too this week. Make sure you check that out. That's Thursday. And I'm all confused with all the shows now, so I have no idea. All right, guys, we'll see you next week, Mando Monday. Take care.